Alright, what's going on YouTube? I know I haven't recorded in a minute on this update on the combine, but that's what we're about to get right into. So today and yesterday we're about to go over my trades for today and yesterday. Then we're gonna go over my prep for tomorrow, where I'm doing, what I'm doing, and also where I stand at in the combine. Took a couple losses last week that I'm still recovering from, but as far as today, well, we'll start with Monday. Let me pull that up. So this is my trade from yesterday. Traded some NASDAQ futures, of course. Um, so the brown highlighted vertical area, that's the London session. The horizontal brown highlighted area, that's just the range for that session. And so we had some false breakouts going on, and then we ran back to the downside early on. So that right there let me know it's probably was going to be a range bound day. And so I was looking for that stage three breakdown. So once we came back up here and made a new high, what time was that? Around like 10 o'clock. I knew that move probably wasn't going to be sustained. So I was looking for a sell. And then once I dropped down into my 1 minute, we broke that 50 with that big volume right here, as you can see. Boom, once we broke that, I was looking for a test of this base that took us to new highs because I'm looking for buyers to use some sell stops to get out. So that was gonna give me that pressure going to the downside. And honestly, boom, we got that first 10-second test. Boom, I sold here. And I was thinking about adding here to this position. But honestly, boom, when we got that hammer right here, that just kind of spooked me out of this trade because I know y'all thinking like, damn, that was a great trade because look where it went. But of course, hindsight is 2020. But I'm gonna tell you what made me make this, um, take this trade off prematurely. Let me see. So last week, this was a trade I put on, and it was the same exact setup. Uh, Hold up, my computer goes a little slow when I try to record these videos. So this was the same exact setup. It almost looks identical. Um, but this one, boom, it actually went into an uptrend for a minute. And so when I dropped down to the 1 minute and I was looking for these sales, boom, I got that first target hit, and the second one, it came back in reverse. So when this happened yesterday, you can see it kind of came and tested that demand level. I'm like, man, I don't want this to reverse on me. So not gonna lie, I got spooked out of that trade and really just didn't have the confidence to hold it because of what happened to me last week. I feel like I left a lot of money on the table, so it spooked me out of this one. But the difference in that setup was this actually went into stage two. This right here had already made the liquidity sweep, so I could kind of trust um, that this was going to be a range bound day. And then the fact that, look at this opening range, that's a wide opening range. So that day probably wouldn't, it was a higher chance that this was going to be the high of the day once we had broke out to a new high, just because of how wide that opening range was. So just a learning lesson, still getting my confidence up in taking these setups and knowing the logic behind it. And so that was that setup. I mean, it was a green trade, just got spooked out of it because of purely recency bias what's been happening to me in the markets. Still getting my confidence up. And today took a sale in crude that really wasn't my setup. So like Boom, you can see this is a stage 4 pullback. And the reason I took this, even though I didn't really like how the 10-minute chart looked, um, the market profile, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. um, Boom, here we go. So this is the market profile for crude, and this is the profile for today. This is the market profile for yesterday. So you can see today opened up within yesterday's value area. So I wasn't expecting much, but I know the high typically gets made within that first 30 minutes of the day. And boom, when we had this open auction and this sell off, I knew that I could pretty much get the width, or I could estimate the range based off of yesterday's range because I wasn't expecting too much. So they gave me, even though I knew it was probably going to be a range bound day, it gave me a lot of potential to the downside. So that's why I felt comfortable selling. And when we got this breakdown below yesterday's open, I was definitely bearish because yesterday was a hanging man. And if you know what a hanging man symbolizes, it means like buyers got left hanging. So if they got left hanging at yesterday's open, that's a good area to lean on. And so this blue dotted line, that's my yesterday's open. Boom, we came back up into that level, got a big distribution candle breaking upside structure. And then once I got this shooting star retesting this upside trend line, I just had to sell, and I still just spooked out of the trade only because this wasn't my double test bearish divergence. But the trade just jumped out at me so good that I had to take it. So boom. Same thing with this one. Just not enough confidence in it to hold it. And I guess this just come with I took so many losses in the past months that wasn't really having confidence in these setups. But I mean, they turned out to be good setups, and I'm not gonna trip on it because I see what I need to work on, which is just holding on to winning trades. But I mean, I feel as if you've been on a losing streak. There's no wrong with um, booking a couple green days to get that confidence back up. So that's definitely what I'm working on, getting that back. And so here we're gonna transition into my prep for tomorrow, April 10th, and pretty much in the Russell 2000. We just made we're in a stage 2 uptrend, and we just made a hammer, but it looks like it's the start of like a rising three methods. So I could pull that up, but I'm not about to do all that right now. But I'm looking for, if price can open out of balance and then come back and reclaim yesterday's high, then I'm looking for sales. If price makes an opening drive out of the range to the upside, then I'm looking for buys. It all really just depends on how we open. But in all my markets, I'm looking kind of for a trend day, only because boom, these my catalysts. We got a few red flag announcements coming out, especially in the pre-market, and then we got crude oil inventories coming out. So I'm definitely looking for movement in my markets today, and well tomorrow, and then Nasdaq. We just made a hammer on big volume, definitely, and the same thing in the S&P. And I'm definitely looking for buys if we can kind of sell off when this announcement comes out. Because basically, my logic behind that is if we get some bearishness when these announcements come out and price can't hold below yesterday's low, then I mean, and we just made a hammer, then that's like um everybody has sold, so now they gotta buy to cover. So that's gonna be my strength to go up. That's if I see that. If I see that, I'm definitely gonna jump on it. If not, probably gonna have to flip my bias. But just seeing where the daily chart is, it's making a hammer. So looking for some upside. And in crude oil, we just made a distribution candle. So I'm looking for some sales around that 9:30 time. So that's my prep for the tomorrow. And the last thing is what's going on with this Top Step account. So boom, y'all can see I'm bumping that jazz. Gotta get that jazz going when you vibing. You can see I've been locked in for about 2 hours straight. Um, Not sure why this not loading, but you can see it says I have 9 days complete. Good thing is, um, my winning trade percentage is 69%. Bad thing is how low these winning trades are and how big these average losers are. So my main focus will be getting this number up. I mean, I like where this is. If I can get that up, that'll be great. But the main focus is getting this number up because that number is just way too low. And I mean, once I do that, I feel like I'll be good. And that just come with time. Keep taking these trades, get my confidence up, and get this number down. I mean, I don't think that's a bad number. Average loser, just 130 bucks. Just gotta get this average winning trade up. And I mean, being right about 70% of the time, that's not bad. And considering what's happening after I take these trades off, it's not like I'm just scalping and I'm getting lucky. Not like my winning trades are actually, moving. Is moving in my direction. I'm just not holding on to them. So once we get that under control, I definitely feel like, we're gonna run this account up, but still getting out of this drawdown. So I'm being completely transparent about that. And yeah, man, I'm rocking it out. So this is my account as of April 9th. And we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get the job done, whatever it takes. And that's pretty much it. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Might record a video doing like some pre-market prep or might just record my trade live. But that's it. I will see y'all on the next video and y'all stay locked in with me.